GamingBolt presents 15 amazing Elder Scrolls Morrowind secrets, Easter eggs, and facts you absolutely need to know. The Elder Scrolls series, and even Fallout for that matter, has always been full of awesome little Easter eggs and secrets. Even more interesting are the little tidbits that are never really explained or known about for the longest time. We decided to take a look back at the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind and highlight 15 secrets, Easter eggs, and facts that you should know about. Fishy Stick. Let it not be said that Bethesda doesn't wink and nod at its forum users. Fishy Stick is a popular term for the company's forums, starting out as an award and later being given to new members as initiation. The term appears throughout different Elder Scrolls games, and though it's only mentioned in Morrowind, you can actually find it as a food item. Indiana Jones. Amelin Ancestral Tomb has a rather interesting reference in the form of Indiana Jones. And by reference, we mean the man's body trapped by a rock that ultimately led to him dying slowly. A scroll next to the body is signed Indy and talks about jokes regarding his childhood pet, which calls back to the Last Crusade where Indy's father talks about giving the family dog the same name. Well, at least he won't see the debacle that is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. 1984. Want a little George Orwell in your video games, especially because his nightmares are pretty much your everyday reality? Well, the satellite floating above Vivek's temple is called many names, including the Ministry of Truth. This is an actual building in 1984, Orwell's famous novel about a future dystopia with an authoritarian government in charge. Final Fantasy. Why shouldn't a Western RPG tip its hat to one of the greatest JRPG franchises of all time? Head over to the Urshalaku burial caverns and you'll find the Kefka burial room, which refers to Kefka, the antagonist of Final Fantasy VI. What? Nobody said it had to be an unsubtle tip of the hat, though a Buster Sword weapon would have been awesome. Peak Uchu. Speaking of JRPG references, you'll find the skeleton of Pikachu from Pokemon in Mudan Grotto. Sorry, we mean Peak Uchu. The skeleton has a note next to it that reads, "If anyone shall ever find me, I hope I am able to bring them to laughter." We interpret this to mean, Pikachu's finally dead, the anime can finally end, followed by joyous laughter and crying, but, whatever floats your boat. Charles the Plant. Remember Chuck the Plant from Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle? Morrowind has its very own plant named Charles in Vivek Foreign Quarter. Check out the bookshelf at the bottom of the stairs and you'll see it has the name of Charles the Plant. It's a clever reference that fans of LucasArts old-school adventure titles can appreciate. Limbo of the Lost and Plagiarism. Limbo of the Lost is one of the more blatant examples of video game asset plagiarism out there. The point-and-click adventure was first discovered to have stolen assets from Oblivion. However, as time went on, Morrowind, Thief, Diablo 2, Silent Hill 4: The Room, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Warcraft, Hexen, and many more games were confirmed to have had their backgrounds and objects plagiarized. The controversy that followed afterwards is a whole other matter entirely. The Sad Seer of Oblivion's plot. The quest to save Oddfrid Whitelip in the Blood Moon expansion is straightforward enough. The Seer is dead, but don't sweat the small stuff. Upon returning to the quest giver Guy Lear the Mumbling, he'll narrate your fortune. However, if you complete the main quest before this, Guy Lear will tell you that when the dragon dies, the Empire dies. Where is the lost dragon's blood, the Empire's sire? This is a teaser for events that occur in Oblivion. Tel Voss. Part Imperial Fort, part Tower, Tel Voss is the property of Master Arion, the youngest Telvanni Mage Lord. If you snoop around enough, you'll find a hidden room or two with items like Asura's Servant, a Daedric shield that's also enchanted. However, even more interestingly, every tower in Tel Voss has a secret room with stuff to discover. Better get to searching. More NPCs. Though Oblivion and Skyrim are bigger, more polished, and have a lot more to do, it's interesting to note that Morrowind, released in 2002, actually had more non-playable characters than both games combined. Of course, there's good reason for the same. Oblivion and Skyrim had voice acting for nearly every NPC along with unique AI routines. By comparison, Morrowind stuck to limited AI patterns and simply text. Jib. Remember Jib, the other prisoner at the beginning of Morrowind? As it turns out, he didn't just disappear. He actually went on to defeat and kill the Cliff Racers in Vardenfell, becoming Saint Jib in the process. In the Battle of Kvatch, in Oblivion, he would meet his end, and in the Soul of Cairn in Skyrim, you can find his remains. Talk about continuity. Alternate take. Feel like traveling off the beaten path? In the main quest, there's a back path of sorts which allows you to kill Vivek, take Wraithguard from him, go to Yagarm to activate it. Hilariously enough, though the game indicates that its 230 damage is only temporary, the actual amount is permanent. Literally unplayable, Bethesda. Absent Morningstar. Perhaps one of the strangest omissions from Morrowind compared to the other Elder Scrolls titles is the month of Morningstar being missing. Though seen in Arena and Daggerfall along with Oblivion and Skyrim, it is not present in Morrowind, most likely due to an error. At least it was fixed in future games, we suppose. Grazelands of the Giants. Oblivion and Skyrim are home to their own large creatures and oddities. However, in Morrowind, there's actually an area in the Grazelands west of the Nerano ancestral tombs with creatures that are twice their usual size. There's no explanation given for this either. Who knows, it'll probably remain a mystery forever. Ashen Ones. Bethesda once again pays tribute to some of its loyal fans with 3 unique ashes. In Ravel Ancestral Tomb, there's the ashes of G. Lingus. In Samaris Ancestral Tomb, you'll find the ashes of Lord Bryn. Finally, the ashes of D. Bryant can be found in Phallus Ancestral Tomb. These essentially pay tribute to regular members of the Elder Scrolls forums who passed away during production. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.